So I have just spent the afternoon going through aerial footage of the property on Gairloch Road to the point where I actually have no idea what I'm looking at anymore. So I thought I'd bring it to you guys in a video. So I released a video earlier this week discussing Janie's various accounts relating to the driveway, because there were a lot of things about it that gave me pause and made me want to stop and take a closer look. Now, as a result of those videos, one of my subscribers emailed me with a quite astute observation that I'd missed completely relating to Malaya and the story about Malaya standing in the driveway. So this morning I went through and I was working on collecting clips to do a video based on her observation, because, like I said, I thought it was a pretty good observation, and it had also prompted me to realise a few other things relating to that narrative. So I had that all queued up, ready to go. I've got the clips lined up. I've got the thumbnail done. I've got everything ready to go, just needs my narrative. And then I thought I should get a particular image of the driveway. So I went looking for an image of the driveway, the one that I was thinking of. And I just happened to notice from the one that I grabbed that you would actually see the sawhorse that Janie refers to. So anyway, I loaded up that image and I zoomed it a bit, and something else came to my attention. So, like I said, I've now spent the entire afternoon going through as many images as I could find, aerial shots of that driveway, trying to figure this out. And, well, I can't figure it out. So I'm going to ask you guys and see what you think. Now, just to jog your memory a little bit, maybe a week or so back, I did a video based on someone's observation from Facebook, where they had pointed out that the kids couldn't have been on their swings the morning that they allegedly went missing, because there was a humongous damn woodpile right there alongside that cubby house. Now, just a random observation that's totally off topic. Amira has had multiple naps today. And during those multiple naps, she has not snored. And yet, here I am, sitting down to record audio, and straight away, for the first time today, the snoring begins. I swear it's intentional. And for those of you who are new to my channel, Amira is a 7-year-old Chihuahua, the little blonde one up the front, and she's a very good snorer. Now, as I mentioned in the video where I discussed this, that woodpile was moved very, very quickly. So all the other drone footage of the property shows an empty spot where that woodpile used to be. It had been moved into the woodshed, presumably. And now here's something that I never questioned before, but I think it's relevant to this video, as you'll see as we get along. We've been told that Daniel basically spent most of the first couple of days out searching. And apparently Janie did too. She gives an account of being out with Justin on the four-wheeler searching. And yet someone had time to restack that pile of wood, to move it from the cubby to inside the woodshed. So I'm just wondering exactly when that happened And who moved it? Because I would imagine if you've been out searching all day, the last thing you're going to feel like doing is moving a pile of wood. And in fact, one of the accounts that Daniel gives, he claims that he'd been out searching and he came back and he was just so exhausted that he just dropped and went to sleep. So I am curious, who moved that wood pile in the first place? And why was it a priority when you had missing children? Now, that's actually not the point of this video, but I do want to put a pin in that and come back to that point. Now, one of the things that I had also noticed was that it appeared that the big pile of timber on the other side of the cubby house had been moved, which had me curious as well, especially when you go back to this thought of, well, if Daniel was out searching flat out, apparently so was Justin and so was Janie, if it was moved, who actually moved it? And again, why would you prioritise that when you're going out searching all day for 2 missing children? So, having noted in my video where I was talking about the wood pile that the timber seemed to have been moved as well, I noticed with the CBC interview that when Janie was talking about where the sawhorse was, just near where the sawhorse was, there was a pile of timber. And I thought, I wonder if that's the same pile that was over by the cubby house and it's been moved. And I honestly couldn't figure out why you would move it to that location in the driveway, because if it was being used for fencing purposes, then the original location next to the cubby house would have been a more convenient location, in my opinion, given that it appears that the fencing that was occurring was along that strip of driveway from Janie's RV to the corner of the house. Now, this image here also seems to have been from CBC, from the same day as the image where we see the woodpile next to the cubby house. You can see that the woodshed there is empty, and you can see there is still the timber along the side of the fence there. There is, however, also a small pile of timber in the location where we later see that big pile of timber during the CBC interview when Janie's showing them the location of the sawhorse. So it appears that at this point in time, they were possibly beginning to move the timber over to the driveway. Or maybe it was there all along. I don't think it was there all along. So I've zoomed out here and you can see the pile of wood next to the cubby house, and you can see that pile of timber over by the bank. It's a bit blurry, so you can't really see the sawhorse, but the sawhorse is kind of roughly level with those tubs of gravel that are in front of the house. Now, in terms of those tubs of gravel, since we're discussing them, you can see that they are actually working on a new deck out the front of the house there. So you can see a brand new post and brand new steps that are just kind of lying there. So I'm going to say that I'm pretty certain that those tubs of gravel are for concreting in posts. When you dig in posts, you need to use a fairly heavy concrete, one with a fairly coarse gravel, and that just holds everything much, much better. So while I know people have had all sorts of crazy speculation about the gravel, it seems pretty clear that they were already in the process of sorting out those front steps when those children went missing. That gravel was there for mixing concrete. Now here's the reason that I have spent pretty much for the entire afternoon going through images of this property. So as I mentioned, I was working on a different video and I came across this image here that basically shows the location of the sawhorse. So you have the sawhorse there just close to the four-wheeler where Justin is sitting. And that makes sense when you look off to the side because you can see those steps that were lying on the ground, although they're propped up now along the side of the deck. So clearly someone was cutting things to size to put those steps in. But from pulling up this image and then zooming in to take a closer look at the location of the sawhorse, I noticed something else. Now I know it goes a little bit blurry when I zoom in, but it's got me really, really curious. So this is the location where that big pile of timber is when Janie is doing her interview. So the insert on the left-hand side, which I just showed you before, is from when the CBC did their aerial view. And you can see, like I said, the beginnings of a pile of timber there. And yet on the right-hand side here, it's not a pile of timber. And I'm wondering if this photo was taken before that pile of timber was put there, and I'm guessing it probably was, given that by the time we saw Janie's interview, there was quite a sizable pile of timber there. But my question is, what does that look like to you guys? Because it looks to me like some sort of pit, some sort of well with a covering that's been pulled off. And then it's been covered over with a pile of timber. Maybe I'm just seeing it wrong. Maybe I'm turning into one of those creators who sees babies in buns. If you know, you know. But it's just got me really, really curious. It's also got me frustrated because I can't find a better image of it. I tried telling the app that I use here to improve it digitally, and I don't think it's made any improvement whatsoever. So I'm going to go back to the original. So whatever it is in the exact location of that now quite large pile of timber. Now, if you listen to my video where I was talking about Belinda witnessing Janie crying on the driveway, then you're probably aware that I keep getting myself confused with that timeline. And I'm going to explain why. So we know from what Belinda says that Janie was crying because she was arguing with an officer from RCMP in relation to them wanting to search her RV. So in my brain, that's basically going to be the Friday, right? Because surely with these two children missing, then the RCMP would have immediately searched the property. But then I thought it through and I thought, well, no, because then there was a question with Belinda, had she witnessed the altercation on the driveway? And she said no, she left before, or she believes she left before that happened. And I'm like, well, that happened on the Saturday. So I was really confused. And then it dawned on me that it appears that the RCMP may not have actually done any searches around the property on Friday at all. That maybe they came, spoke to Malaya, spoke to Daniel, called in the search crews and the drones and the helicopters, and it wasn't until day 2 that they went, hang on, maybe we should treat this as suspicious, and decided to search. So the obvious question here is, if the RCMP didn't start searching the property properly, like, forensically searching, until Saturday, and we've got things being moved around prior to then, is there something that they missed on the property? And why, when Daniel, Janie and Justin were all apparently flat out searching for the first 2 days, why then move that pile of timber to the location of where this thing is on the driveway and cover that over? I mean, it's a crappy picture here, I'll give you that. So I could be just completely misinterpreting this image. But I really hope that if that is some sort of pit or some sort of well, that the RCMP were actually aware of it and did actually check it out prior to that big pile of timber being put over the top. But I mean, surely if you rocked up to a property, you're an RCMP officer, you rocked up to a property and you were going to talk to the parents about missing children, you would notice something like that, right? I'm probably just completely delusional and seeing things, but I just wanted to ask you guys and find out what you see in this image and get your thoughts on all these moving piles of wood and timber.